Hey there, Film Buds. Welcome back to the Film Buds podcast. I'm your host, Paul.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is episode 228.
Woo!
Yeah. We're continuing our summer movie series. Last week, we kicked off our summer movie series with the 4th of July.
Yes, we did.
And we went a little bit sort of left field for a typical 4th of July episode. I think most people want to get into the pomp and circumstance, and we really dove into, I think, sort of what it means on a more serious level in relation to now.
No, I think that's... I think that's completely accurate. I think that's 100% what we did. We bummed the people out.
Yeah! But don't worry, good people. Today's episode is about real summer experiences right here on Earth, right around the same time of each other, about 4 years apart.
Oh,
or
really?
so, yeah.
Wow.
So today's episode is all about documentary film and documentaries that evoke summer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a wide topic for a little while. I think for me, one of the obvious answers for what did I consider a sort of summer documentary was something nature-related.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I think that you really did a slam dunk with these ones, though. Like, they are, both in the heart of summer. The idea is summer, and I think that was very successful.
Yeah. And, when I really started thinking about summer movies, one of the first just titles that ran through my head of movies was The Endless Summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so today's documentary episode was sort of based off of that idea, was just that one movie in particular, just what if we did The Endless Summer?
Mm-hmm.
And then off of that, I wanted to pair it with something because everything was getting paired with something, and I thought, well, let's, sort of look up summer documentary, and one of the first ones that came up was Summer of Soul.
Oh, it even has it in the name. Look at us really doing this today.
So, it's the recent Academy Award Best Picture winner for Best Documentary Feature Film.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just seemed like a really slam dunk idea, one of the early documentaries of the 60s that helped define the surfing generation.
Mm-hmm.
And then a movie all about this incredible cultural moment from the 60s. And honestly, at the time, I didn't even really consider that they were, 65 and 69.
Yeah, honestly, we also watched them a little bit apart, so just in the sense of writing them down on the list, they're not that close together, so visually as well, it wasn't oh yeah, these things are connected by only a few years of time. They are in the same decade.
Yeah.
I don't know why I threw I keep putting the other one, the surfing one, in the 50s.
It's, I think, because it has that sensibility, but we'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of the big idea, right? Is let's go and look at real experiences that tap into this core idea of summer. And I think that obviously outdoor activity, be it a concert event or surfing, are definitely two things that people think of when they think of summer. And so I guess with that in mind, actually, for our little bit of opening chitter-chatter, what are some, summer activities? Do you have, a favorite summer activity? And have you ever attended, an all-day concert event in the summer?
No.
Okay.
No, I've never done that. I like being indoors in the summer. It's hot and, you get sweaty. But, I guess summer activities that I enjoy. I'm not really a beach person. I could take or leave the beach. But I do like water, and I always really enjoyed as a kid getting to go to the pool and having water park days and stuff like that. I love going to theme parks, especially, during the summer when the season is right for it. But honestly, the best time to go to a theme park is in fall, is in the late summer, early fall time, because there's nobody there and it's not as sweltering hot anymore. But honestly, like, yeah, I could take or leave. Summer is like a season. Like, I like the fact that, you know, as a kid you got the freedom, but also I could have had that really anywhere, you know. If you told me that I got all of winter off, I'd been like, tight, you know.
Yeah, I think some of the poetic nature of summer is oftentimes affiliated with youth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being young, having summer to do whatever you wanted, all the way even into your college years. You know, yeah, maybe you worked a job, but you were still potentially part-time.
Yeah,
and,
you
like,
know.
You had that that endless possibility that also came with summer.
Mm-hmm. Because you had so much time.
Exactly. And so I think that summer has this interesting nostalgia, but I think that it's also really tied up with youth, which I think is also very appropriate in a weird way for what summer sort of symbolizes on a certain level as well.
Yeah, you know, in the scheme of the seasons, you know, spring is rebirth, and so then summer is the everything is thriving kind of time, you know, the good young time, and then fall is when things start to age, and then winter is like, you know, the death season, kind of I guess, to like put a darker twist on it, but it's like, you know, if you're looking at trees outside, if you're in the States especially, I know that seasons are different wherever you go, but
No, you get the fall foliage, and
yeah, you know,
then the leaves fall.
Exactly, and then you have just like barren trees and landscape around you, and you know, and then we start back up again with spring and rebirth. So I think that you're accurate in saying that if the seasons were a person, this person would be a young adult.
Yeah.
You know, teens into 20s kind
Yeah.
of person, you know, all the way, you know, obviously this is speculative depending on who you are as a person, you know, but like once you start hitting like your 50s, that's like the fall season.
Yeah.
You know, I get where you're at. Daddy-o.
Well, as far as favorite summer activities go, you know, I love grilling. I love going to the movies.
Oh, that's fair.
You know, it's a great reason to go indoors in the movies, you know, especially I remember Dad talking about when he was young, you know, one of the things that movie theaters would sort of use to advertise was that they were air conditioned. You know, that was a big deal in the South in the summer for something to go and do. You know, spend $1 or you know, less, get to sit inside for 2.5 hours, man. You know, get to be out of the heat.
Yeah.
And so that had a lot of appeal, especially for young kids, you know, in the summer and that kind of thing. And so that was obviously less the case for me, but I still enjoyed going to the summer movies and the summer movie season. I love grilling. You know, I do enjoy a good bit of cooking outside, because you can do it in the winter, and the benefit of it in the winter and the fall is that then you have like the warmth of the fire. Mm-hmm. But also it eventually, especially where we are, hits a point of cold in the winter where unless you have a good roiling fire outside, you know,
You're
a
cold.
grill is, yeah, you know. So, as far as have I ever attended a concert festival, I have. I went to an event hosted by the alt rock station around here, and it was the Summer Weenie Roast
Fantastic.
concert series.
That's fantastic. I want a t-shirt that says that.
And I saw, oh God, who did I see? I saw I think I saw a band called the Sick Puppies or something like that. The big headlining acts were 30 Seconds to Mars,
Okay.
Sublime with Rome,
Uh-huh.
and I'm totally blanking on the band, but it's the guys that did that song Sail.
I'm not. I don't know if I know.
Sail. You know what I'm talking about? Where, like, the guys just, like, shout at that song for, like, half of it.
Oh my gosh, no, but absolutely. I don't need to look it up now. I want your version of it to be the only version that I know. Wonderful.
So, those were, like, the big ones. I was the most hyped for Sublime with Rome, because I know Sublime. Mm-hmm. And so I was pretty excited to see that one. 30 Seconds to Mars was the one that, like, everyone around me was the most excited for. And so, like, I saw Jared Leto live and in person once upon a time. This was, like, this is before Suicide Squad was a thought in anybody's head.
What year was this?
This would have been 2013-ish.
Oh, okay.
2012, 2013, somewhere in there.
Fantastic. I'm glad that I was alive and aware in this time period. And if, like, genuinely couldn't tell you a Sublime song, have no idea who Rome is.
Sublime is Lovin' is what I got.
That one sounds more familiar than the Sail one.
Okay.
But also, the Mars one sounds familiar, but, like...
Yeah, that's Jared Leto's band, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, but I, again, couldn't name you a single
Me
thing.
neither, and I saw them in concert.
That says a lot.
So... but that's the one that everyone was really, really into. I remember all the cell phones came out for that one.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Oh, gosh, you all pulled out your flip phones, you say.
Well, you know, it was still early. Actually, that was back when everyone was really, like, ultra comparing their smartphones, and you had smartphones that had really stupid fucking features that, like, none of them ever needed, but it was because they were all trying to be different than the other one.
Remember the one that had, like, attachable things to make it a camera? Or
yeah,
you had to, like, carry around, like, 50 attachments?
Yeah, there was also one that was, like, 3D. You know, it was, like, a
fantastic.
parallax screen as well. So, like, it was that kind of fuck shit, you know?
Ah, good. Good.
It was that time. The sweet spot.
Perfect.
Sweet spot in technology.
And
BlackBerry was still around.
Oh, gosh, everybody had a BlackBerry. They thought they were doing work on those things.
For a long time, because of the level of encryption that you could get with BlackBerry for a very long time, BlackBerry was, like, the de facto device of certain government agencies, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, honestly, they pretend like they're incognito, but if everybody has a BlackBerry and is driving that same kind of car, like, we're all gonna go, are they Mary Kay consultants, or are they secret agents?
But I guess without any further ado, we should go ahead and jump into our main discussion, which is film. And in particular, we're going to start with, we'll go chronologically, we'll start with The Endless Summer.
Okay.
And to kick things off, I thought we would do just a very brief history, I promise it is, of surfing.
Oh, okay, sure. I have no idea anything about the history of surfing.
Fun stuff, then. This is the big highlights, you know, sort of bold strokes of it.
Fantastic.
So body surfing is the earliest agreed upon sort of form of surfing. Mm-hmm. People went out into the waves and, you know, body surfed as a form of locomotion in the ocean. And so that's generally sort of agreed upon as the earliest form, with, like, a board being adopted as a tool to improve the action. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, and then it was probably, you know, a little bit more of, like, you know, what's the one?
Like a boogie board?
Yeah. It was probably more like that. I can't imagine. It was probably a long time before someone popped up.
Oh, I'm sure they were also probably using it as, like, a means of, like, being able to float.
Yeah.
As well, you know.
Look for things in the water.
Exactly.
Below, that kind of thing.
You know, you can linger a little bit more when you have something that's buoyant.
And it's a little bit less tiring.
Yeah, exactly.
On the body. And so there is cave art as old as the 12th century that depicts people surfing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's been with people for a long time, and it did originate in the Pacific Island area. Mm-hmm. And if you want to know more about AAPI people, We've got episodes for you.
We do. Go back a few months, and you're going to have a
Go
blast.
to the first one in particular, and you'll get a whole breakdown.
Fantastic.
So, the first European to make any documented note about surfing was the explorer James Cook.
Oh, okay.
Christian missionaries are actually a negative impact, surprise, surprise, on the culture of surfing, because once European settlers started to move out into Pacific areas and set up missionary settlements, part of the thing that also got stripped away with that was surfing as an exhibit of culture.
Well, if it's not white.
It ain't right. And so it had to go.
That's right.
And so it actually ended up diminishing how many people did surf. Because it used to be that once upon a time, like, whole loads of them, of people did. And then once European settlers came in and attacked, these sort of tribes and put some of them into missionaries, then some of them got disconnected from that part of their culture. And then they didn't practice it as much.
Such a shame. Such a shame for history. Every single time.
Every single time.
That's right.
Surfing ended up being brought to most people's attention, though, once they started to hear about it from certain travelers who were also writers, like Jack London. And then there actually ended up being a surfer who won the 1912 Olympic medal for swimming of some kind. It was a guy named Duke Kahanamoku.
Fantastic.
And he was called the Duke, and he was a surfer, and it's generally agreed upon that his, like, really powerful stroking style when he was, like, going out to surf is what ended up really leading him to have that sort of superiority over people who were just standard swimming laps, sort of in pools.
I don't doubt that in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going out up against, like, a force of nature, and then you're in
still water.
Pool,
yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And then it really, really got big, particularly in the U.S., once Hawaii was made into a state.
Yeah.
The invention of the wetsuit is what started to bring it particularly to stateside surfing. Because typically our ocean water was a little bit colder. And so most people didn't go out and get into the water. And so the invention of the wetsuit started to increase what temperatures you could tolerate in surfing.
Yes.
And so that started to bring it to literally the mainland, not just as a concept, but as a practice.
It was comfort.
Ha! And then by the 60s, it was starting to really boom, and then one of the things that did legitimately help it blow up
was this movie. Was
The Endless Summer.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for a little bit of production background, it is directed and narrated by Bruce Brown, who had been surfing since the 50s. He started surfing a decade earlier, fell in love with surfing culture, while he was stationed out in Oahu. And that was also where he took his first footage of surfers on 8mm film. And he did, in the early days, a lot of still photography, then moved into 8mm. By 1958, he made Slippery When Wet, which was his first sort of proper surf film that he shot on 16mm, and it cost him $5,000 to make it.
It sounds like a porno.
It does. By 1962, he was making a surf film a year, and he was self-exhibiting, where he would do live narration on stage with taped music while the movie would play behind him.
Fantastic.
He had no practical training in film. He essentially read, like, How to Make a Film, the book. And that was, like, his sort of formal training in film making. to gather funding for this worldwide surf project that he had concocted this idea for, he took some of the best of footage of his previous films and compiled it together in a new movie called Waterlogged. And he went and sold Waterlogged and raised some capital that way. And he needed $50,000 to make Endless Summer. So he did that, he worked, got the money together, and was able to get the movie made. However, he still also couldn't afford for the surfers to fly around the world, so each of them had to pay for their own ticket, and they got reimbursed later on. And so it cost each of them $1,400, which back in the 60s was a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And so production lasted 4 months, and they went and they traveled the world. It was written and directed and shot by Bruce Brown. It was edited by Bruce Brown. And the music was by a triad, John Blakely, Gaston Joris, and Walter Joris of the band The Sandals, who were like a beach sound band.
I mean, that makes sense.
Of course, Bruce was our narrator, and then our main principal surfers were Michael Hinson and Robert August. It was released June 15th, 1965. It has a runtime of 1:35. It was shot actually on 16 millimeter, but exploded up to 35 millimeter for the final printing for theatrical release.
Oh, okay.
Which was a common practice for cheaper movies back in the day.
Interesting. I learned so much from you.
I'm glad. And part of the reason it's all narrated is also because he didn't shoot sound. And that's also what helped him keep his costs down.
Well,
he just shot literally just the film.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Also, you know, that cuts down on having to cut out a lot of sound as well.
You don't need more people.
Yeah.
It's just you, the camera, and the surfers. Maybe some camera people for additional footage. And that's it. The plot is the crown jewel to 10 years of Bruce Brown's surf documentaries. Brown follows two young surfers around the world in search of the perfect wave, and ends up finding quite a few, in addition to some colorful local characters. So, we'll start with you. How familiar were you with surfing? And had you ever heard of this movie before seeing it?
Okay, so my familiarity with surfing goes back to, I was a part of this, like, summer camp program that my parents put me into, where we would go and do, like, random, like, outdoorsy things, like a big thing once a week, and then, like, little things, like, we would go to, you know, parks and stuff like that throughout the regular part of the week. But we would do like long trips every once in a while, and one of our long trips was to go to the Outer Banks and go surfing on the North Carolina shore. And that was my first time going surfing. Obviously North Carolina isn't known for its surf because there is none. Pretty much. And so that was my only real experience with surfing. I've never gone anywhere more exciting, I guess, than that to go surfing. I'm definitely not gonna try my hand in like some place like Hawaii or even, you know, with real surf people. Yeah. I couldn't get up on the board. I mean, like, I got up on the board, but it was like an instant like fall off like every single time. And maybe it would be better with actual surf people to tell me surf things, but I was like getting instructed by somebody who surfs in North Carolina. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
But, like, it was an interesting time. I don't really like the ocean, as I previously said before. So it's, like, not really a sport that I personally want to experience often. Mm-hmm. But, it's a fun thing to do. I think that it's definitely more interesting than just like hanging out on the beach for sure.
Yeah.
But my familiarity with the movie,
Yeah.
I'd never heard of any of these documentaries. I'm just gonna say that right now. The types of documentaries that I would watch were usually related to animals.
Nature, yeah.
So, if it wasn't a planet Earth, I didn't know it existed. But this was a really fun. This was not what I was expecting at all, and in a good way. I didn't know really what a surfing documentary was gonna entail, but I loved the charm of this movie. I think that it feels very much like 1965, in every aspect of its, production to just listening to this man talk.
Yeah. He had that sort of 50s, 60s narrator sound.
Yeah, the things that he would say, the little catchphrases, that just sound very like, I don't know, very, very kitschy, very like for of the times, golly gee willikers, kind of stuff. And I loved the soundtrack as well, but it also it all lent so well to this very specific idea of like this California surf community of the 60s and like what that's like.
Yeah.
And I also think that this movie was pretty honest with what it was. It is a documentary, so like not every place they went they
Worked.
could even surf at all. It wasn't like we got to only see the good stuff. We saw them traveling. We saw them, going across all of these different places where you would never expect people to go to surf.
Yeah, they went to great lengths. That's what I think was so impressive about the documentary is when you really think about it, these guys went to incredible lengths for what would ultimately amount to sometimes 2 to 8 hours of surfing.
Mm-hmm.
Days of travel, hours of travel, across difficult terrain sometimes, down into weird little pocket areas, to then maybe get 2 to 8 hours, of surf.
Mm-hmm. I loved them being like, I don't know what the name of this beach is, and so they would just like give it some kind of name.
Yeah.
For the documentary's sake. It was really a really hip 60s movie. You know what I mean? Like
it was a youth culture, I think, kind of favorite as well.
Yeah, and I completely understand that. Like, it feels like I should be like 22 again. Watching these
energized to go out and find this endless horizon.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it was also just like a really fun window, and like you don't get to see into the eyes of young people of a different era too often. And I think that this was really fun to see something that was written and made by some dude in his like 20s about what it's like to be some dude in his 20s who likes to surf.
Yeah.
And I think that that's great.
Is this the oldest documentary that you had seen?
Possibly. I don't know. I really couldn't
Need
tell
some
you.
research to decide.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't, I guess, include, when I think about, like, documentary, I guess I don't necessarily include some of, like, early film just because, like, what else were they supposed to record when they first made the camera?
Oh, I get that. That's fair.
You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily count, like, some of the Edison films of, like, people boxing in the Black Mariah as, like, a documentary. The fuck else was he gonna film?
No, yeah, he didn't have actors. The whole concept was like foreign. He was testing this thing out.
Exactly. So I'm not sure that, like, I think that once you get to, like, truly creating narrative out of the discussion, then you're kind of into the documentary realm. And so this, I think, is probably the oldest one I've seen. I'd have to do a little bit of research to confirm that, but I think this is probably the oldest I've seen.
I think that that's pretty fair. I mean...
Not including, I guess, also some of the, like, pseudo-documentary newsreel-ish type of stuff of, like, the 40s that I've seen, like, footage of.
Oh, no,
But, like, I'm talking, like, feature length, I think, as well.
Oh, I think that that's fair. The whole concept of, honestly, watching a documentary from the past... You know, I don't think that the idea has ever really crossed my mind. I don't think that this was an avenue that I really was expecting to find anything in, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. For you, documentaries feel like a more modern concept?
Yeah, I guess.
Like an 80s onward kind of a thing.
Yeah, you know, we've got all this technology now.
Well, I think the independent boom of, like... And the increase in access to technology, which is also what fueled the independent boom, did also fuel some of a documentary boom.
Yeah, exactly, because also it's a matter of access as well.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have the access to the equipment to then make your documentary.
To find your subject and film it.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, I expect, like, documentaries to be more of, like, for a scientific audience to be used as research or something like that for something, you know, let's say that I am an early explorer from the 20s who is going into the pyramids for the very first time. I would probably, if I could record something, I would, but also I don't think that I would make a documentary out of that footage.
Yeah. No, I think that's all really fair. I really enjoyed it as well. You know, I think that it is, to your point, it is very old-fashioned, and I think that for some people that'll probably be, like, not their bag. But I really enjoy it, and I also find it very fascinating to go back and to see them do this kind of thing where they speak for the subject.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's really then when you move into, like, the later 60s and moving into the 70s where the documentary really starts to go to this kind of, like, fly-on-the-wall, cinema verite,
mm-hmm.
hands-off, don't touch kind of approach,
mm-hmm.
and the subject then is supposed to be, you know, sort of speaking for themselves. And I think that it's really interesting to go back and see this kind of early transition phase. And I also just think that watching the surfing footage is incredible.
Oh,
it's also
yeah.
just remarkable, exciting to watch surfing footage.
No, there's something almost, like, innocent about watching something that's from so far back, because we've come so far in so many different directions. You know, basketball doesn't look the same as basketball did back in the 60s. Surfing doesn't look anything like it did back then. You know, now, because we've gotten better technology, we've gotten stronger, we've gotten more time. And it was just inspiring to, like, watch these people who were, like, surfing had just come to the States not too long ago. And to be that good, to be that dedicated, to love the sport that much, you know. I loved the, like, montage of, like, different people that he was describing while that were surfing out there. It was like, oh, you know, there's Mikey D over here, and this is Mikey D's favorite move. And then you just see this man, you know, doing something ridiculous on a board. I loved the guy who couldn't get knocked off. Like, he just never gets knocked off. It was fantastic watching him just, like, dip and weave through people. I couldn't do that. Everybody would have been hit. It would have been a whole cluster. It would have been the worst. Absolutely phenomenal.
And so I think that it's a really fun, really light, airy, enjoyable, you know, family-friendly kind of experience, and I really, really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, really wholesome.
So if you had to rate The Endless Summer out of 5, what would you give it?
I think I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
You know, for no real and particular reasons, but, like, I don't know, I think that I really enjoyed the parts where they were, and obviously it's a documentary, so you can't control everything, but I really enjoyed the parts where, like, they were actively, like, in, like, the fun surfing communities, and, like, some parts of the movie were just not like that.
Yeah.
You know, the parts of it were just like some dudes just wandering around, you know.
Looking for stuff, hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. I loved that weird dude that like drove them across country. Like that guy was great. He was a hoot. Terrence.
Yeah.
He was a hoot. But yeah.
Not all of it is that. And
exactly.
There are some lulls for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll go 4.5.
Okay.
I think you're right on with how it hits this sort of dreamy sweet spot of summer, and I think in their sort of quest for the perfect wave and this perpetual life of being in summer around the world, I think that they did end up creating this kind of wonderful, sort of semi-poetic experience of this idyllic summer, this endless summer. If you just keep traveling long enough, it's always summer.
You know, you chase it like the horizon.
Mm-hmm. And I think that also kind of fits into that 60s jet set mindset of, just perpetually traveling, wanderlust, sort of, you can hop on the plane and be around the world tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think that it also hits into those sort of romantic ideas as well, very effectively.
No, I think that all of that makes perfect sense. I like it.
Moving on, we have our next film, Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised. The movie gives you a lot of its own background up front.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to know some of the background, watch the movie. But essentially, this Harlem Cultural Festival was filmed back in 1969. And then for 50 years, the footage sat in a basement. And what ended up happening behind the scenes during that time was a few different people tried to get something going, and it never happened. And eventually something was really going and working, and they came to Questlove, the producers did. They said, we've got the footage of the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival. Would you like to do the documentary about, or be a part of, the documentary about the Harlem Cultural Festival from 1969? And he said, yeah, it sounds great. What is the Harlem Cultural Festival from 1969? And once he heard, the full story of what it all was, he was enraptured sort of, with this idea, and he was blown away that, especially as someone, because if you did not know, Amir Thompson, aka Questlove, is from the band The Roots. He was astounded that he hadn't heard of this as a musician. That somehow this massive black musician event happened. And he was even astounded that he hadn't fucking heard of it until the producers came to him and said, hey, we got this footage of this incredible event that happened.
Yeah, but I mean, when you scrub history, they don't leave a spot.
No, man, if you let them. And so I think that it was really, really interesting that that's sort of some of the backstory, and he got a hold of the footage, and the documentary finally happened.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah. It is directed by Questlove. It is the cinematographer who was really, I guess, sort of overseeing the, probably, I imagine, a little bit of the restoration, is Sean Peters. There aren't really any cast members. I mean, it's a bunch of the bands and some of the attendees, that are subjects of the film. Archive footage of people like B.B. King, Nina Simone, current day footage of some of the performers of The Fifth Dimension, and
it's
Gladys
really
Knight.
Anybody who was aware of the event, who basically wanted to come and be a part of this,
could come and talk about it.
Yeah.
And the plot is a documentary about the legendary 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival, which celebrated African American music and culture and promoted Black pride and unity. I guess I'll go ahead and kick this one off, since you started on the last one.
Yes.
So I was aware of the documentary, and it was one that I was interested in seeing, but partially also because of the Film Bud's schedule, we ended up just not getting around to it. But it was one that was really on my mind, and like especially when we were coming up to Oscar season, when I knew that it was nominated, it was one that I was thinking about potentially trying to work into the show in some sort of capacity, or just watch in general. For those of you who may go, God, why didn't I know that this movie won Best Documentary at the Oscars this year? It's because the thing that preceded it was the infamous slap.
And if you're wondering, wait, which slap? It's the one that you're thinking about.
Mm-hmm. It's the one that people wouldn't shut up about.
Yeah.
So, that's why you might not have heard about it. But it's a pretty interesting story, and like I love so much of the musicians. I'm in particular like a big Nina Simone fan, and when so I saw that like in the trailer that this had some classic Nina footage in it, that was a big draw for me personally. And I gotta say, it didn't disappoint even fucking remotely at all.
Oh my gosh.
It was every bit a Best Picture winning documentary. It was fantastic. It drew you in, I think, with the right amount of circumstance and tension, and I think that they managed to then make it fun and poppy and dynamic, but then also still come back around in the third act and work some of that heart and power and underlying heft of the moment to the story again, without still never really making it dour or serious or moody. And I think that that's a really, really impressive feat for what they did overall. And that's sort of like my broad thoughts on the movie. What did you think?
So I had honestly never heard of this film before, as usual. So when you brought it up, I was like, okay, cool. And honestly, I feel like I had the exact same response as Questlove. Like, great, what's the Harlem Cultural Festival? Like, what is this movie about? Like, what are we about to dive into? And I absolutely adore this movie. I found a lot of warmth and a lot of pride in this movie, and as a Black American, this movie was just inspiring. I can't say enough good things about it, honestly. Because also, like, there's something about being Black in the United States where you have culture, but your culture is always wrapped in so much like sadness and things that people don't want to talk about, that it's kind of hard to remember all of the good things about being Black. And I think that this movie was just so much of the good and so much of the why the fight continues, and kind of like a beacon for it. It was definitely very much like a cultural reminder, a system recheck of sorts of a movie for me, because of it being in 1969, this movie is wrapped in history just automatically by where it is smack dab in the middle, the late 60s. And
some of the people who took part in the story are directly involved in that history.
Exactly. And so in order to make the footage make sense, Questlove did a great job of interweaving a lot of history into these things, because otherwise, you would hear these people reference, Dr. King's assassination, and you'd be like, why on earth are they talking about Dr. King's assassination, when you realize that had just happened.
Mm-hmm. It's fresh on everyone's mind.
They go through this whole list of the, we lose Malcolm, we lose Martin,
we lose the Kennedys.
We go through, years and year and year. The 60s are riddled with huge death of public figures, and it's very grounding in that reality. And then also you get to hear these songs that were born of this, and some things are happy, but a lot of things are sad or mournful, or they're proud but they're reserved, and it's just a musical explosion, especially because, like, we did watch the Get Back documentary not too long ago, which is, again, another, back in the times.
I think that it's very interesting that two of the biggest documentaries that happened on film and television in the last few years are both the unearthing, reclaiming, and re-envisioning of this historical event, particularly from the late 60s and in relation to music.
Yeah, I think that honestly, to your point, I think that it is fascinating how we just keep finding this stuff. You're going to tell me in a minute that we're going to have the original footage of some Broadway musical from the 50s and it's going to be in some Pap's basement.
Well, I think that part of the reason is also that for less so a little bit with the Beatles, very much so with Summer of Soul, I think that you're getting a lot of subtext about the past and how it relates to the present.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. I also agree with your sentiment. A little bit of Get Back, but definitely a lot of Summer of Soul.
That's more about, like, being in transition. Mm-hmm. Sort of personally. Mm-hmm. But also being in transition with the time, because they also are at the end of a decade in that. Here, it's all about the socio-political transition.
Yeah, and it's about this reaffirming what it means to be black.
That we're here, that we come in all forms.
Exactly. No, I think that this movie was truly, truly beautiful. And I'm honestly very touched that this footage just exists, that this piece got to be made, because now I can also use this as a staple of my Black history, as well, because, like, this happened the same time as Woodstock. The same summer in miles. One was in New York City and one was in upstate New York. They were in the same state in the same summer. And no one has ever heard of this. But everybody talks about how they wanted to be at Woodstock.
And honestly, like,
this looked way better than anything that I ever saw about Woodstock.
Yeah, the shit looked great.
Woodstock looks like a bunch of dirty hippies now compared to this.
Woodstock was a bunch of dirty hippies.
I mean, true, but people have, like, fantasized about it, where this was just, like, an entire summer. People got to watch Stevie Wonder play live for free.
When he said he was, like, what, 19?
He was 19 years old.
Incredible.
People got to go to this thing for free.
Incredible.
The city paid for this. The city of New York paid for this. The mayor was there. Mm-hmm. And nobody remembers this. It just boggles.
Republican mayor
was hanging out in the black neighborhoods.
I'm sure he's got plenty of, snakes in the woodpile if I look him up historically. But
I'm sure.
He did this right. Everybody gets one.
He was there when they were doing the riots. It was just, This is a wonderful, like, time capsule of a film. And, truly, and then the most honest sense of it, of what a time capsule truly is, something that is buried and lost, that gets unearthed
and brought back to you.
Yeah, and you get to see it, and it was amazing to look at these people and, find connection with them, even though we are, 60 years removed from this history, almost.
Getting close to.
Yeah, so I really, truly, I can't say enough good things about this movie. Honestly, like, I could talk about each of the acts right now, like, but I'm not.
No, like, because we could definitely gush about music for a long time. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like, I don't want to spoil any of the magic of the experience for anyone. It's so pleasant to see it happen.
But there are so many songs now that I have to go. I need to rewatch this just so that I can figure out which songs I need to now add to the...
I just need to go and see if there's an album.
Yeah, exactly. I need the songs. I need all of these songs that I've never heard before in my life.
Yeah. So if you had to rate it out of 5, what would you give it? I'll go first. I'll go with a 5.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Truly, truly well done. And I know that Questlove is, he's a part of documentaries all the time, and like I think that this is just another opportunity that he picked to let somebody's voice who had never been heard before, literally, get heard for the first time in the best way, because he also was a part of the Apu documentary as well.
No.
That wasn't Quest?
No.
Oh, damn it. Who am I thinking of?
That was, Kamau Bell? Oh, I was right. Kamau Bell. Is that who you were thinking of?
Oh my gosh, that is who I was thinking of. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus. Honestly, they've got similar energy.
That's fair. It's the big beards and the big hair.
Yeah, but also it's like the way that they talk as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywho, still a 5 out of 5, regardless of me not knowing, apparently, all of Questlove's many endeavors. But, I know that there's something else.
He's a part of the house band. The Roots are currently the house band on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
And I think I thought that was that guy. Son of a bitch.
I love you, dear.
I love you. This is something that's gonna ram my brain for a while now.
Yeah, you're gonna be down this rabbit hole for the rest of the night. I guess moving on to wrap up, some media news. Honestly, the only thing that is really worth mentioning, there are actually two things that are worth mentioning. The first one is that we lost James Caan, the classic actor from Misery, The Godfather, plenty of other films. He passed away at the age of 82. And it's honestly a real shame that he's no longer with us.
No, it is, but he definitely got to live a very full life and, have a fantastic career.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in another sad passing, though, as well, we also had the recent passing of Kazuki Takahashi, who was the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh!, who passed away at 60.
No! Yeah. Oh my god, that was our entire childhood. You do not mess with it. These are the facts. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that. That's really sad.
Yeah. Very young. I can't imagine that it was expected, or if it was probably, it was, I guess, a snorkeling accident.
Even more reason to stay away from the ocean.
So, very unfortunate. Two passings of two very different kinds of icons, but, both of them respectable icons. Each of them icons in their own ways.
And, I'm sure that somebody listening to this is like, what the hell is Yu-Gi-Oh? But it truly touched a generation and is an unforgettable thing.
And people are still into the cards.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is like the lesser Pokemon.
Yeah, people are still into the cards.
Fantastic.
But that's pretty much all that we have for the show, honestly. As far as what we're watching, we finished up Stranger Things 4.
Yes, we did.
Really enjoyable, not perfect. I've got a lot of thoughts and opinions about it, but I don't want to get into them because a lot of them are very spoilery. But for the most part, I liked 4 a lot. I'm looking forward to 5. I think that 5 is going to go in a very particular sort of King style of story. That if you've seen 4, you know exactly what I'm referencing. But I think I liked 4 a lot. I'll be curious to see what 5 does. It's going to be very, very different. I'm glad that everyone is finally back in one location again, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah, jeez. I'm tired of having, disparate storylines, especially when they were across a country. It was a mess.
And so I'm really looking forward to having everyone back. 1 is still my favorite season. but I really enjoyed this one a lot.
Oh, yeah. I think that they really hit, like, a slam dunk with one. But, like, honestly, I really enjoyed this season a lot. I think that they finally got, like, a nice groove back, and I'm really looking forward to season 5. Oh, gosh, 5.
In 2024.
Oh, my gosh, we have to wait so long. Boo. Whatever. I'll forget about it, and then be pleasantly surprised when it's coming out.
But that's honestly pretty much all that we have. This weekend I might be recording a bonus episode. Stay tuned for that. Next week, come back for my Marcel the Shell review.
Yeah!
Which will be a written review. I got to go to the advanced screening, and so next week the movie comes out, and so I can put my review out next week.
I'm so excited!
So please definitely come back and check out that. But that's pretty much all that I have for y'all. Dear, do you have anything that you would like to say to the dear listeners?
Stay cool.
Wear sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen. Wear sunscreen. That's so important. Stay hydrated. That's also very important. You know, you can forget to drink water when you're not, like, actively, you know, sweating. But sweating is just a way of your body telling you that you need to cool down, not that you're dehydrated. So drink water. Drink water. And come back next week when we discuss more movies on this channel right here. Same bat time, same bat channel.
If I'm not mistaken, next week is Hot Bods.
Hot Bods.
Body Heat and Wild Things.
Fantastic.
So, and we've got the great Arrow Video 4K of Wild Things that just came out. And so I'm really pumped to crack this bad boy on and give it a watch. I'm sure it's going to look great.
Ah, yay.
So do come back next week. We've got lots of good stuff coming up for y'all. It's going to be a good summer. Keep on listening. Stay safe. And remember, documentaries aren't truth. Responsible documentarians strive to be truth tellers. But a documentary can be as deceitful as anything else.
Yeah.
That's my final pro tip for y'all. Have a good one, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye. Bye.